My mother documented every popsicle, pencil, and parking fee she ever paid for me, and turned it into a color-coded spreadsheet. She called it my emotional invoice. I remember crying when I saw a line item labeled, Christmas hugs $3.50 each. She patted my back, saying, "That's fair market." Meredith Foster, my boyfriend's mom, watched from across the dinner table, her lawyer eyes narrowing. I once thought this was just how love worked, but even the spreadsheet felt cold that night, like a contract I never signed. On my 17th birthday, Eleanor gifted me a payment schedule. Graduation fees are due by June 1. The spreadsheet was laminated. I smiled weakly while she passed it around like it was a baby photo. Meredith leaned over and whispered, "You don't know her your joy." My cheeks burned. Mom toasted to investments finally maturing. That night, I hid the spreadsheet under my mattress. Every time I heard paper rustle, I flinched. I began to question, was I her daughter or just a return on investment? I stopped saying I love you after Mom added emotional interest to late replies. Meredith noticed I spoke in receipts, not feelings. I tried confronting Mom with logic. She countered with pie charts. Meredith offered to help legally, but Mark, a financial advisor and family friend, said Eleanor's system was innovative parenting. I felt betrayed again. I wasn't just losing money, I was losing language. Mom began training other parents. She called them debt-aware guardians. Flashback: Lauren, my sister, ran away at 16. She left behind a notebook filled with ledger corrections and a note: love doesn't need interest rates. Meredith read it and said, she tried to audit the system. That broke me. I copied the spreadsheet, highlighting every absurd item, preparing my own emotional lawsuit. At a family brunch, I presented the revised spreadsheet. "Here's my itemized trauma," I said. Mom smiled coldly, adding, "That's not deductible." Flashback: Eleanor once invoiced me for crying at her hospital bedside. Emotional overload surcharge. Meredith stood beside me, filming. "You ready to escalate?" she asked. I nodded. This was no longer a negotiation, it was emancipation. Cell by cell, the twist came when I discovered Eleanor had claimed me as a dependent on her taxes while demanding repayment. Meredith gasped, "That's fraud." Mom's smirk finally cracked. I filed a report. Mark backpedaled, now calling it unorthodox. The system cracked like brittle paper. For the first time, I saw Eleanor not as a mother but a failing accountant of love. Mom sued me for breach of filial contract. In court, she presented her spreadsheet like gospel. I trembled until Meredith rose, calm and razor sharp. "This isn't a contract, it's coercion," she said. The judge raised an eyebrow. I realized then love isn't transactional, and I wasn't a debtor. The spreadsheet, my chain, became evidence of my freedom. Eleanor's silence was louder than any verdict. The case was dismissed. Meredith hugged me. No terms, no ledger. Ursigence followed. Curious about Eleanor's love economy, I watched her face pale. Outside court, Lauren called, heard Mom lost control. I laughed deep, unbilled joy. Meredith offered me a room, not a contract. That night, I burned the spreadsheet. No backup, just ashes and air. For once, I owed nothing, and felt completely whole. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe to check out more stories on my channel.